What's up guys, CrossFlux here, and today I have a unique experience for you. I get bored at work sometimes, and I start to think about random stuff, as many of us surely do. So one day I thought, how interesting would it be if there was a Smash Brothers-like crossover game, but with the turn-based gameplay of traditional Pokemon games? Weird thought, I know. So I decided to create a new video series where I talk about how other video game characters would fit into a Pokemon game if they were able to battle against Pokemon. By this, I mean that I'll be discussing potential typings, abilities, base stats, move pools, and possible Mega Evolutions and or Z moves, and a few example movesets that they could implement. I haven't really seen anyone else have a discussion like this one, so hopefully it'll be interesting, and I definitely want to hear your guys' thoughts on this subject after the video. So let's get started. For the first episode, we'll be discussing Nintendo's main boy, Mario. Or Mario if you like pronouncing things incorrectly. We all know Nintendo's mascot, so I won't be talking too much about him or his games. So I'll just cover the important stuff as it becomes applicable. But just for the record, this section of the video will normally be reserved for me briefly discussing the character of the video. Obviously, Mario is known for his affinity to fire. As it turns out, he doesn't even have to chow down on fire flowers to gain his pyrokinetic abilities. During the events of Superstar Saga, Mario actually gains the ability to manipulate fire whenever he wants. So the first typing that I'm going to give to the portly plumber is the fire type. Since Mario has displayed superhuman physical abilities, I figured that his secondary typing should be fighting. Between his agility and strength, I could see him getting stabbed on various fighting type techniques. It was a bit difficult to narrow down Mario's 3 potential abilities because I thought of several abilities that would fit him well. So I'll go over the abilities that didn't quite make the cut first. I considered giving him Magic Bounce as an ability in reference to his cape power-up from Super Mario World. Also, he makes use of this cape in the Smash Brothers series. Blaze also seemed like a good choice, but since this ability is kind of the signature abilities of the fire starters, I don't want to step on anyone's toes. And from the sports spin-off games, we see that Mario can be quite competitive, therefore I considered giving him the competitive ability. But I think the following 3 abilities just fit a Red Cloud hero better. Mario is known for breaking bricks with his head, and he doesn't seem to mind it at all. Therefore, Rockhead would fit him splendidly. This ability could also work well with a possible gimmicky moveset. Justified would also work well for him, since he's a hero. Mario snuffs out evil wherever it may be, and since he's a fighting type, he would resist dark moves. If he had this ability, then he would get a free attack boost for good predictions. And finally, Moxie is what I replaced competitive with. It ultimately came down to a personal preference, and from a competitive standpoint, Moxie is just a little more viable than competitive. There's not really much else to say here. The average base stat total for the final forms of the starter Pokemon is approximately 530. I feel like this is a good benchmark to start with. And besides, I feel it would be reasonable for Mario to be just under par of a fully evolved starter. His stat spread is as follows. As you can see, his defensive stats are average at best. Mario here can take a resisted hit reasonably well, but you can forget strong super effective moves, like pitfalls or spikes or lava. On the other hand, Mario's offensive stats are where it's at. Base 118 attack gives him plenty of physical power to work with. Combine that with his base 95 speed, and he has the potential to be a good sweeper. As for his special attack, well, 88's not terrible, but I mean it's not great either. It could be used if you really wanted to, but I would stick to a physical set. Now, here's my favorite part of a Pokemon's competitive aspects, the move pool. Typing abilities and base stats are all very important, but for my money, what can make or break a Pokemon's usefulness in battle is the selection of moves that it has at its disposal. Since Mario is a versatile video game character, I figured he'd have a large selection of moves at his disposal. We'll start with his stab moves first. I decided to give Mario a large selection of physical attacks to complement his physical attack stat. Although his special attack is somewhat usable, his selection of special stab moves is pretty barren. Overheat and Focus Blast are the only two. Even though Mario has the ability to manipulate fire, I'm not sure if we ever really see him shoot streams of flames, so I didn't think it would be appropriate for him to learn other special fire moves, like Flamethrower, or Heat Wave, or even Fire Blast. Now, for a selection of Mario's viable coverage moves. Alright, I feel that some of these moves may need some explaining. Since Mario's a pretty athletic and surprisingly nimble person, I gave him U-turn, acrobatics, and bounce. Hit Smash and Double Edge are given attacks for Mario. I mean, come on. Mario's most known for slamming his head into bricks. Also, these two moves would be great for him to use with his Rock Hit ability. Rapid Spin is a nice utility that he would have learned during his adventures in Super Mario Galaxy. Will-O-Wisp is another way for him to put his fireballs to good use. Finally, the elephant in the room, Hydro Pump and Aqua Jet, on a fire and fighting type combatant. Well, if you're wondering why Mario can learn these two moves, then you must have forgotten about one of the most underrated Mario games, Super Mario Sunshine. I almost didn't include this section of the video because I just didn't think about it until after I had recorded most of the dialogue already. But I got to thinking, some Pokemon have signature items, like Pikachu's Light Ball or Marowak's Thick Club. If Mario had a signature item, what would it be? Mario makes use of all sorts of power-ups throughout his adventures, but to keep this section of the video concise, let's just go with his most iconic collectible, the 1-Up Mushroom. If Mario is holding this item, it serves as a focus sash. If he drops from full HP to 0, he'll consume the mushroom and survive the attack instead. So why not just give him a focus sash? What makes this item different? Well, glad you asked. In the Super Mario games, a 1-Up Mushroom doesn't just save Mario's life, it gives him a whole second chance. So let's translate that over to a Pokemon game. So not only will Mario survive an attack from full HP, but his HP will increase back up to the halfway point. So basically it's like a focus sash combined with a citrus berry. Before I get into the possible movesets for Mario, let's take a look at his Mega form. That's right, I figured Mario could have a Mega Evolution. But what could it possibly be? I considered Mega Mario from his own game series, but it's really just a giant Mario, so kind of boring aesthetically. So instead, I went with Star Mario. So what stats would go up with Star Power? Well, since Mario's already an offensive Pokemon, those stats would go up the most. Also, I thought it would be neat to even up his attacking stats a bit. So physical attack gets a 20-point increase, while special attack gets a 30-point increase. And his speed will go up a lot as well. Finally, the ability. This is really important on a Mega Pokemon. To reflect Star Mario's invincibility, I thought the perfect ability would be Wonder Guard, the signature ability of Shedinja. This ability would clearly elevate Mario to the Uber tier. Now, I'm not a pro when it comes to the Uber tier. In fact, I don't really battle competitively in general. But when I was into battling, it was during 4th and 5th gens. And even then, I spent most of the time in the OU tiers. I say all this to ultimately say, I don't know how difficult it would be for teams to get around a firefighting type Pokemon with Wonder Guard. Mario's weaknesses would be Water, Ground, Flying, and Psychic. So I imagine it wouldn't be too tough to deal with, because Primal Kyogre and its team could stop Mario in its tracks. Also Primal Groudon and plenty of other Pokemon make use of Earthquake. Finally, Psychic types like Mew and Mewtwo are somewhat common. Since Mario is in the Smash Bros. Series, and that series somewhat sparked my idea for this video series, I figured that Mario has the perfect attack for a Z move in the form of his final Smash, Mario Finale. So if Mario's holding the Mushroomium Z, he can transform his Overheat move into a 210 base power special fire attack, giving him an excellent way to bust through physical walls that would otherwise try and ruin his sweep. Now, let's spend a few moments going over a couple movesets that I've come up with. Again, I'd like to reiterate that I've fallen out of the competitive scene, so I'd like to see you all discuss your own movesets for Mario in the comment section below. Anyways, for the first set, we've got the standard wall breaker / revenge killer set. This is pretty straightforward. Maximizes physical attack and or speed, and go to town on the enemy team. Flare Blitz and Close Combat form a very impressive stab core. A strong coverage moves rounds out his moveset nicely. Alternatively, Aqua Jet can be there for priority. Finally, I almost always recommend U-Turn on a choice set so that you can whittle down an enemy's Pokemon while maintaining momentum. Obviously this set will work best with your enemy's Water, Ghost, Psychic, and Flying types out of the way first. Up next, we have the All-Out Attacking set. This is similar to the last one, except it trades raw power or speed for more versatility. Flare Blitz and Close Combat still form the stab core. A coverage move is still definitely appreciated, but without the speed increase of a Scarf, Aqua Jet is a little more important on this set. Finally, Overheat could be a good surprise attack to use against opposing physical walls, because even uninvested, it'll still chunk stuff fairly hard. And the final moveset I'd like to share with you is a support set. This is probably the least viable of the ones that I've mentioned so far because it doesn't really play into Mario's strengths. But still, I like seeing a Pokemon play the support role if they have a few decent support moves, so let's give it a try. Circle Throw is a stab attack that can also phase the opponent out. Rapid Spin is great for hazard removal. The bold nature will lower Mario's attack, but neither Circle Throw nor Rapid Spin are used for damage. If push comes to shove and you need to hit something, that's what Overheat is for. Finally, Will-O-Wisp is a great status to have access to, further increasing your physical durability. So what did you all think about this whole other video game characters as Pokemon thing? I know it's a fairly awkward concept to grasp. I have quite a few other ideas to keep this video series going for quite a while, but if you have any characters that you'd like to see in a future episode, leave a comment down below. Also, if you have any suggestions for changing up Mario, I'd like to hear those too. But anyways, thanks so much for watching, as always. Until next time, have a blessed day.